But we do want to focus today on the big story, which is Hurricane Milton, because it continues to approach Florida while that state is still trying to recover from Hurricane Helene. But that storm didn't just leave damage behind. It also left in its path lots of mis- and disinformation, with the weather itself being a politicized issue in this year's presidential election. Let's turn to CBC's Ithil Musa, who's joining us live from Washington. So Ithil, how are the presidential candidates handling this situation?
Well, quite interestingly, it's hard to believe, Natasha, that these major storms have become politicized, given how high the stakes are, but they have. And officials say one presidential candidate is making the situation worse by spreading unsubstantiated claims. Donald Trump has repeatedly stated falsehoods about the federal response to hurricane relief efforts, and officials say that's creating fear and it's also demoralizing aid workers. In the aftermath of Helene, Trump claimed without evidence that the federal government was intentionally withholding aid to people living in Republican areas. Trump has also accused FEMA, the Federal Emergency Management Agency, of spending all of its money to help migrants who are in the U.S. illegally. Many on the right, including Trump ally and billionaire Elon Musk, have been amplifying those claims on social media. Now, FEMA says the false information being shared by the former president could prevent survivors from getting the help they desperately need.
His accusations are just completely false. I think the first thing I would say is just because you don't see somebody on the ground in a FEMA shirt doesn't mean we don't have people there. We have people that are embedded in the State Emergency Operations Center. I have teams that are walking around neighborhoods. We really have just got to stop this rhetoric, because what it's doing is it's putting fear in the people that we're not going to be there to help them. And I worry that they won't register for assistance with us and get access to the critical resources that they are eligible for.
Vice President and Democratic presidential candidate Kamala Harris is urging citizens to listen to local officials in preparation for Hurricane Milton and to get out now if they can. Harris says mis- and disinformation being pushed out there by Trump is extraordinarily irresponsible. Here's the U.S.'s Transportation Secretary with more on why.
We have a massive misinformation problem, and this is something that actively harms the ability of responders to do their job. I think a lot of it's driven by politics. Some of it's just the internet doing what it seems to do lately and amplify the loudest or strangest thing that is being said. But this is a real problem with life and death implications, because one of the most important things you need in any disaster scenario, you need power, you need water, you need transportation, you need information, good, accurate information.
How is the federal agency FEMA responding to all this misinformation?
Well, the false claims have become so widespread, Natasha, that FEMA has set up a rumor response page to debunk them. And that's actually what it's called. It's a rumor response page. The site also warns against scams, and it posts official information from trusted sources, including disaster assistance programs and processes. FEMA also has dedicated pages to Hurricane Helene and Milton, where residents can get up-to-date information and links to critical resources.
CBC's Ithil Musa in Washington, thank you.